And more holiday cheer brought to you by the D20 Plugin. Yes, we've got new features, so let's get to it. What do we have in this new release of the D20? Well, we've revamped the targeting system so that it is more uniform, while still giving you options. We have added the support for attack-specific animations. So the animations that you have configured in your D20 plugin are kind of the defaults that an attack uses if no specific animation was specified on the attack itself. But the attacks can specify an animation, and that animation can be either one of the core Talespire animations, or it could be a projectile plugin animation. So we've got support for that. We also have support for when you do an AoE attack against a DC. Previously, it was rolling the damage separately for each affected target. Now it will generate the damage only once and apply it to all the targets. But if you are doing an attack that has multiple targets against a C, such as like an Eldritch Blast, it will still calculate the damages for each one separately. And I think that's it. So let's get down to it. So the new targeting system. You can still select your mini and then right-click the enemy target and then select from there your attack. But that still works for a single target. But that is kind of a legacy style. Now the idea is that everything is done from your own mini. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to select, yes, I have a spastic mouse. I'm going to select my attack. In this particular case, I've got this long hierarchy of different options, but I'm going to go down to an acid arrow. So now you can see I've selected my attack, and it's telling me up here that I need to select one target. Now, you can have attacks that will specify a specific number of targets. That does not have to be one. You can have something like an Eldritch Blast that now does 3 blasts. Or you can also have the option of unlimited targets until you are happy. So in this particular case, it is requiring one target. So as soon as I select a target, it's going to launch the attack. And how do I select a target? Well, one way is to just click the target. Let me demonstrate. I've clicked on the target. It filled in the name of the target up there, and then it launched the attack against that target. Okay, so let's show the other options. So I can go here and do another attack. Now, if you noticed there, the attack that I did there was one of the core attacks. It was the green laser, I think. So I'm going to go now and use a fire arrow, which uses the red laser instead. That will demonstrate the ability for an attack to basically specify its animation. This is also telling me to select one target. So again, the regular way it would be just to pick off the target that I want, but we've got other options. You can now hit the keyboard key to bring up the targeting panel, very similar to what we had before, but now instead of some cases using this panel and other cases using a different selection method, now it is something that you can bring up, and instead of having check marks here, you can push these buttons to select the target that you want. What that also means is because they're not check marks anymore, now if you have an attack that, for example, hits 3 targets, you can actually select a single target multiple times. So if I go nearest goblin is right here. Again, I've selected the one target. It looks like that when you're using this panel, it didn't automatically launch the target. I'll have to look into that, but I can apply the selection here, and that will go and execute that. Okay, so that's the second way. I can select a attack, and then instead of picking off the target, I can bring up the targeting panel and select from there. You will also note that we now have a death animation. So when the goblin died, he fell over. And we also have an option, you can turn it on or off, to make the corpses disappear after a certain amount of time. So I think right now I've got it at 2 seconds or something like that. So you saw that the goblin fell over and was dead for a couple of seconds, and then it automatically cleaned him up. That's very useful because it will remove that goblin from the turn order. So if you're in combat and you have the turn order, if the goblin just fell over, he would still be in the turn order, and then you have to skip him every time. Whereas if you clean up the corpses, it will remove that creature from the turn order, and you don't have to worry about it. So then I'm just going to grab here a goblin and put him back. By the way, these are super goblins because they've got 100 hit points. That's just so that I can actually do a few hits on here and not have to replace them every time. I'm going to name this guy Goblin 1. Okay, so the last selection method that we have, again, the start is always the same. I select a character, I select an attack. I will do a cold arrow, which is the magic missile attack. And now I can select multiple targets. Actually, I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to just hit one of these guys here, just like we saw before. Yeah, so we can see this, again, animation attack has its own animation, this time the kind of the magic missile. I wanted to do fireball. Okay, so here we can see that we have a now an unlimited number of targets because we don't know how many targets are going to fit into our fireball. So that attack gives us unlimited selection here. And it is ideal for showing our last way of selecting, and that is the ruler. I'm going to pull up my ruler here. I'm going to place my fireball here at the center. And and I'm going to go out. Fireball is 20-foot radius. So that's 4 tiles. And when I select that, you can see that everybody in that area automatically got entered into the targets. It's telling me that I've got 5 targets selected. It's giving me the option to select more because, again, this is unlimited. But once I am happy with my selection up here, I can hit the middle mouse button, and we're going to see it apply the damage to all of the selected goblins. The other thing, though, we will see here is previously we saw that all of the animations were per target, right? So when we did the the green laser or the red laser or the magic missiles, every target that that rolled got hit by one of those. That's not really, though, what we want for something like Fireball. Fireball, we want one big kaboom, and then everybody inside it takes damage. We do not want to see a whole fireball for each one of the targets within the fireball, because that would be like 5 fireballs. So that's what we are going to actually see here. There is an option for the animations to do an animation or an animation once, which basically does the animation only for the first target, and then the rest are just done damage, but no animations. So that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see a huge fireball get launched over here, but we're going to only see that happen once, and then everybody in the range will take damage. So let's go. And this is using projectile plugin here. So we saw the animation happen once, but now each one of the people that was selected is being processed for whether or not they take the damage or not. So, yes, and what we wanted to demonstrate here is that Fireball being a DC type attack, we said that the damage for that should be consistent. So basically, if we look up here, there's the Fireball. There's the Fireball. I think that's the first one here. Yeah. So here's the Fireball. We can see that it did 32 damage. You can see that it did 32 damage. You can see that it did, that was a miss here, and 32 damage, and 32 damage. So that is that consistent damage for DC-based attacks. So yeah, new targeting system, consistent damage for DC-based attacks, animations that can use either the core animations or projectile plugin, and they could be per attack, and they could be either a single animation for the whole attack or animations per target. So yeah, that's about it for the new features to the D20 plugin. I know these videos don't have great production quality, but they do have a lot of useful information. So please, appease the YouTube algorithm goddess by casting the subscribe spell and then blasting your Eldritch Blast at the like button. It'll really help me out.